be with you. Oh, I'm getting better. You know what? I'm getting better at it. Okay, made a decision after all the comments I've been getting online. I am gonna go do the interview or go through. Yeti, why are you so dirty? Oh dear gosh, what has my child done? Look at her face. No, you dirty dog. What were you digging in? What were you looking for? Looking for buried treasure. Yeti, stop it. Ugh, so much dirt on your face. That threw me off. Okay, well, I'm gonna do the interview process. I'm very excited for it. And I'm not actually scared of it because I'm aware of how my cognition works and how I'm able to perceive and articulate myself and how I think. So I don't necessarily perceive things as like fear or embarrassment or shame as perhaps maybe other people do. So I'm very excited about this interview process. And the concept of baptism and stuff, yeah, it seems as if there are a lot of different intriguing meanings and interpretations of it. So I can't wait to have those questions answered. Because from everything that I'm reading, actually, right, the process is to make sure that you're ready to make a covenant with God, to be ready to be baptized, to follow commandments, and to follow Jesus Christ, those types of things, right? But then my question is, well, how can someone tell when someone understands those things versus when someone's still trying to learn those things, right? What does it look like if someone understands the concept of all those types of things? What kind of actions would they demonstrate? How would they carry themselves? How would they articulate themselves? I wonder. Because anyone can speak words, but not everyone can demonstrate that they understand what those words mean. So I will be curious to see what happens at this interview and what kind of questions they ask me, and perhaps what will occur when I articulate what I perceive to the depths of clarity. Anywho, so I'm going to schedule that. I'm so excited for it. I'm actually going to, I'm going to a Fast and Furious meeting on, what's it called? Saturday or Sunday. Okay, I'm going this Sunday. So I'm really excited about it. But just in case, right, because there is the potential and possibility and probability, right, it exists, that people get denied from membership. Because I'm not going to change anything about myself, right? My job is very unique and particular, and it requires me to experience the totality of existence. So because of that, there are certain things that existence desires me to experience that I will continue doing. So with that though, I made myself an unofficial official membership card to commemorate my decision, right? I made it out of like an old tarot card, right? This is not a tarot card. This is not a tarot card. This is a tarot card. It's different. And it now is my unofficial official LDS membership card. I made it, I laminated it. Look, I even like signed it. I picked this card specifically because it has all these like fun, whimsy symbols on it. And I don't know, I don't have no idea what that says, but I just saw that it was Hebrew, and I was like, oh, you know what? That's like, LDS likes that. That's like vibing. There's some water. Who doesn't like some water? There's some flowers, and then science matters, right? Because science is how you're able to articulate and explain the nuances of movement patterns that are occurring, of how matter comes about. And then I put, look, no expiration date. And then I made a little bursting pattern because that reminded me of like the orbitals, and the different protonic structures that are occurring. And then my LDS membership card, because it's got a little world on it, I picked the world. And then the triangle, which the triangle is in the male symbolism, right? The roof, the peak, the point. So yay, look at that. And then, you know, all these little fun whimsy things going on. So I did that. And then I had, because on this side, there's two different layers of right? It's a flip side. And so I reflected my name, because my name is a reflection. I did that to myself. And then also the symbolism of the 8, right? Because that's the infinity symbol, right? Everyone can perceive how that's the infinity symbol and how that's the letter 8. When the infinity symbol is shifted to the vertical position like that, that is normally indicative, right? Infinity going in the vertical position to infinity and beyond, right? Buzz Lightyear, Elon Musk blasting off some rocket ships. Good old times. Good old times. Okay, and then I'm so excited about this. There's so much potential, guys. So much potential here. Because even if I do get rejected, right? Or even if, whatever that occurs, I'm still officially a member. Hello, look, I have my card. So I made my own version, right? Love is the one thing we can perceive that crosses the dimensions of time and space. That's from Interstellar. And so even if I can't officially become a member, I'm unofficially a member. Because I chose to. I chose to be. So now I'm gonna start using, like, I'm in like an LDS, right? I'm gonna let people know though. I'm gonna have a disclaimer saying I am officially LDS, right? So this way it preserves, right, the doctrine, the continuity, and the covenants and whatnot, right? Because y'all don't want to be associated with someone that drinks, that does coffee, that's a lesbian, right? Y'all are the Latter-day Saints, not the Lesbian Day Saints. Okay, there's a difference. However, now this will like make people like be like more curious, be like, wait, LDS let you in, and you like are a lesbian, and you like do drugs, and oh wait, I should get my pen. I think I'll get a prop to show how supportive everyone is. Apologies, I'm back from my pilgrimage. Look, see, right? Do you know how good this is gonna be? To be like, wait a second, like you do all these things, and LDS is like loving you, and you love them too. I'm like, yeah, they're pretty awesome. And then I can show everyone my unofficial official membership card, right? I believe you guys have an app that you utilize, which is so cool, right? It's totally like enrolling in school. You guys even, I found out you guys even have like attendance that gets taken, which I'm like, dope, I love school. Let's go. So hopefully I get like a acceptance letter. I don't know if I do get accepted, that'd be fun. However, I will say, right, because my job is very unique, I do require membership to other different paradigms. And so I sharing's caring. And so that's one of the reasons, right? I had a question about that, because does official membership mean that I can't have membership elsewhere? Because I do love having memberships, right? Especially like there's so many available. I have a membership to, I have this one app, it's called Get Upside, and I get cash back for when I put gas in my car, right? I'm already doing that anyways. So I have a membership to that. I have a membership to Get Upside, and they have a nice app. I also have a membership to McDonald's and American Express. And honestly, I should have a membership to Yeti because of how much I love them and purchase their products. Anyways, what else? Yeah, so that was a question I had, like how many memberships can I have? And also, I didn't realize these numbers were there. What else was I gonna say about it? Oh yeah, this is gonna be so great, right? Because everyone's gonna see, like, wait a second, LDS loves this person. I thought LDS like judged those people and shunned them and called them wicked and like said that they're like unworthy and can't sit with us type thing if they did those things. But then again, I come along and everyone's like being so warm and welcoming to me, to their environment. It's gonna like make people perk up about LDS and be like, what's going on in LDS? They seem to be really unique and novel with how supportive and caring they are of all humans. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, right? I went to the gym this morning. I told everyone, I was like, guys, I am officially LDS. I'm a lesbian LDS member. And I text my mom, and she didn't write me back. She didn't text me back. I think she was shocked by it. She was like, oh no, what just happened? Because I said I really like Mormons, LDS, and I've been hanging out with them on Sundays. At least, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about. The membership thing. Because my attendance, right, I do field trips. I take field trips a lot. And so, and due to my schedule, my availability is sometimes whimsy. I need to visit other churches and paradigms as well. So sometimes I'll be out of pocket on Sundays. However, with Fast and Furious Sundays, I'm definitely going to go, right? I picked a new place I'm going tomorrow. Oh, wait, what day is it today? Oh my gosh. I sometimes get lost of linear time. Today's Oh, it's Thursday. Okay, we have quite a bit of time. Well, I'm excited because I'm going to schedule my interview. Once I talk to the church people that I'm going to, I'll attend that and like make it aware, people aware. They're like, hey, how do I schedule an interview to do the thing, whatever, the process, to talk about things, to talk about all the wonderful things that you guys are doing and go through that formal process, right? Because regardless, I'm like, right, no one can take away that I'm officially a member, right? And I'm sure no one minds if I tell people I'm officially a Mormon, right? It's like the best of both worlds, right? LDS gets some free stuff, like free marketing, free publicity, and to see how extraordinary and wonderful you are. I get to learn stuff, and I get to test my awareness and understanding and ability to articulate and navigate existence. It's a win-win for everyone. And I've been getting so many great emails. I've been responding back to people. Because I'm aware of like the hierarchy now. So whenever a man reaches out, I let them aware, because they send me some really good stuff. There's some like very prophetic dudes that y'all have in there, which doesn't surprise me again, right? I talked about your cognitive processes. And so I let this person know, or like be aware. I'm like, hey man, like you've got some very prophetic things going on here. And like from what I can understand, you literally are equivalent to what is being defined as what I understand as divine authority, right, man? Like hopefully you're aware of that. And like you let your parish, your stake, no. Okay, I'm unfamiliar with whether the stake or the ward. I think the stake is bigger. And the ward, like the stake is a group of wards. So, I hope that this person, right, like, all these people, you guys are all just very innovative in how you think. I had another person, oh my gosh, this was so great. I'm loving all these conversations I'm having. There's just too much good stuff going on. Someone else emailed me. This person, y'all, when I talk to you about how amazing LDS is, right, y'all, this is why I have no problems calling myself Mormon. Like, I would love to, I tell people I'm a lesbian Mormon, right? How fun is that? You guys can tell people that. And then also, I allow people, right, because of my presence and the things, because I have no filter. I just talk about what I think and perceive. Well, I do have temperance. I've learned discernment as far as how to utilize my words, right? Because words carry meaning, so I'm very aware of how I utilize my words. It doesn't mean that cosmic oopsies don't happen every once in a while, right? Like, we all make cosmic oopies. You have to provide examples and demonstrations so people understand what it looks like. And so, right, guys? I am the easiest way you guys can utilize me and like rip me apart in all your little sermons and talk about whatever, use me as like a learning opportunity to be like, this is some of the things this is why we don't support these things and this and that, and this is what occurs from it, right? You can use those things. I can help you guys create, what's it called? Different lesson plans if you want about how like drugs and stuff are bad, right? What better way to promote drugs being bad than to have someone who's an expert on them, right? Y'all, I can tell you, I can make anything sound, like to avoid it, to try to help guide people to avoid certain behaviors. I can help y'all with that if you want, right? Y'all basically got like an insider of the outside world. Isn't this so much fun? Guys, the potential here. What else do we got going on? Well, we're having a fun, whimsy time in the community. Everyone's learning. You should see, and then also, right, I'm kind of volunteering. So technically, maybe I won't ever serve a mission, right? Because that's not my vibes, y'all. I, at this point in my life, to be quite frank, I live a very bougie lifestyle because of my efforts and what I've accomplished in my life up to this point, right? I worked very hard for like 33, 34 years to get to this point in my life, to be able to do what I'm doing now. So I have a very bougie lifestyle that I'm very comfortable with. As I don't have my heat on, and I carry a little heater around because I'm too cheap. I have financial discernment, right? When I say I have financial discernment, like, I was gonna make a joke. I was like, I can teach the IRS how to handle money, okay? Which, by the way, I did have a very unique opportunity to help the IRS streamline its policies and procedures, We went through that last year. Tell you, I play with systems. I have a systems. My existence is very unique. Anyway, my job is very unique, and I get to play with large systems. Anywho, I love LDS, and so the limitless potential that we have with this official membership, and then me actually pursuing an official membership. But in the meantime, right, and just in case, this covers now, I have insurance, because this covers if I get rejected by the paradigm. Because I understand, right, sometimes the things I do, right, don't jive real well with, the doctrine. So now we don't even have to worry about the rejection and worthiness thing, right? Right, we've skipped all that, but I'm going to still do it anyways because I want to demonstrate effort and I acknowledge the process of that in place to honor it, right? It's in place for a reason. I'm aware of that, so I have no problems going through it, right? So yeah, but all the comments I'm receiving, they're just so extraordinary. Y'all are just like, it's just a testament of how innovative you are. For instance, one person that I'm emailing back and forth, this person's 62 years old, and they're starting to they're trying to learn how to write prompts for AI, right? They made this beautiful, oh my gosh, they even pay for a subscription for it. Subscription. They pay for a subscription for it, right? They have a membership. So that's really nice of LDS to allow external memberships to different things, right? This person has a degree in elementary education and special education, so they're already doing extraordinary things, and they're seeking the prompts that they wrote. I told them, I said, oh my gosh, your prompts demonstrate a very unique and novel thought pattern. Again, that is occurring within LDS. 62 years old, right? It happens at any age. Anyone can do this. So let me just read this email that because they emailed me. Sorry, I'm getting so excited. This person, we've been having a long conversation. This person emailed me originally a video about the giving machines. Someone mentioned it. I saw it a couple times in the comments, and I was like, what on earth is a giving machine? And they sent me the thing just talking about it in a video, and I was like, let me watch this video. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, literally, this is why it's so novel and innovative, right? This is what I mean. This is a perfect example, proof of how innovative the paradigm is, about anyone that has ever been associated with LDS, because it fundamentally operates on a different level of pattern perception and movement, cognitive capacity, okay? Y'all should be happy, actually, that people don't call you Christian, because what Christians are demonstrating as far as their words are demonstrating, you don't want to be a part of that, y'all. You don't want to be a part of that. The term Christian at this point has become synonymous with violence, chaos, misunderstanding, vengeance, shame, doubt, harassment, mocking. Those are all things, right? Because people, when they respond back in a way that talks about another human in a derogatory or belittling way, where they're talking about another human in a way that makes them feel shameful or vulnerable or embarrassed of themselves, that is not a good example. I would not want to be associated with any label that does that, because that means that label, they're like, oh, you guys don't even understand the label that you're utilizing, because you're propagating hate, violence, fear, pain, suffering, trial, tribulation, all these things with how people respond back to things, right? If you're operating at a higher level of awareness, then use your words to articulate and demonstrate you understand. Because people coming back doing this tit for tat stuff, that shows primitive logic. That shows primitive thought processes occurring in the mind, okay? And honestly, it's not primitive thought processes, it's just what people are used to and what they're taught, what they're raised, right? Humanity has been raised from a foundation of fear, right? I've talked about this before in my videos. You can look at a child too, right? When a child is first born, they don't understand how to do things, right? They could easily be perceived as making mistakes and, doing wicked and terrible things and being embarrassing or shameful or putting judgment on them. Do you know why children lose that childlike awe and wonder why adults lose it? Ooh, I'm getting heated because I can see my nose getting red. Look, I brought my thing, I pressed this is from McDonald's. I pressed this for lack of temperance. So when I get like frustrated, I press him. So I feel myself getting frustrated, lacking temperance. because it makes me very sad when I see people propagate misunderstanding and just are completely unaware of it by how they talk to each other. And so now that I'm unofficially representative of LDS, I'm about to call people out with clarity on what their words are demonstrating. So if people come in hot and try to say something derogatory, right? I'm aware of what that means. They're curious and they're presenting their curiosity in a way that doesn't make them appear vulnerable, right? This is why people come in, even if they talk about calling LDS like a cult, non-Christian, this and that. What is that demonstrating is those people had a thought. That thought circled so much in them, they kept coming back to it. They kept lulling it. They kept researching it. They kept pondering it. To a point, a threshold was crossed where they had to create action. But in pursuing, right, if people only think about things that they're curious about or intrigued about, that inspire them, right, that help them learn, that help them grow, that help them understand to greater depths, okay? So when that occurs, these people that come at you with like derogatory or mean things, all they're doing is expressing their curiosity in a way that makes them not look like they're actually curious. Because do you know how hard it is for someone, right? Because they're from the outside world, right? Technically, I'm from like the outside world of like LDS. It's very scary and intimidating, right? For people to approach the paradigm, and then the easiest way to not be judged by everyone else, right? Because from the outside, y'all, LDS has some good comedy material, y'all. Y'all make some good comedy routines, right? The Book of Mormon, like there's a Broadway play, right? Name other religions that have such really fun and laughter-filled connection that can tolerate and handle being like the butt of the joke, right? Being roasted, right? Only the bravest people with the most courage can face and tolerate and experience and embrace being roasted, right? Oh, it's so much fun though, y'all. Once you get past like responding on like an emotional layer, you have so much fun with people. You have so many more layers to play with. Where was I going? Where was I going with this? So I have so many whimsy thoughts. I'm so excited because I'm going for it, y'all. I'm doing the interview. I'm doing it. I will say I'm going to feel so sorry for whoever shows up because they were about to go on a cognitive whimsy of a trip talking with me, especially if we're going to explore the profound depths of whatever they desire to talk about. I do love meaning and words and layers and interpretations and all sorts of things. I love the totality of existence, of what existence has to offer. And so if anyone wants to explore any specific fractal of thought regarding that, by all means, I love doing it. Because within a fractal, I find more fractals. It's so much fun. It's endless. Anyways, gosh, what else was I talking about? Yeah, so this person's 62 years old. They emailed me about the giving machines, and then we just got talking about stuff. But I wrote this. I said the giving machine concept, right? Because it's literally vending machines. I'd never heard of it before. It's vending machines, and you can go up to it, and inside there's like little cardboard things, and at the bottom you just like pay for it like a vending machine. But at the bottom there's a bin that just like has these cards dropped, and they'll like collect them all, and that's what will be like donated or distributed to whatever organizations. They had stuff in there like polio vaccines, like school supplies, dig a well, school uniforms. It was so cool. You can just like purchase whatever you desire to donate to. I would love to see that same concept. And actually that inspired me because at our gym we have bins of toys and stuff for kids. And so what I decided to do, and they said they were hurting for girl toys. They said they need more girl toys. And so what I decided to do actually is write letters. I'm going to write a bunch of handwritten letters and just letters of encouragement and put like a sticker in there. Or like turn it into a magnet and write a letter of encouragement as a gift to a kid. And so I'm going to put a bunch of those letters into the bin, the toy donation thing, right? Because yes, these types of things, right? LDS has, and there's so many organizations and charities that have these types of basic needs for survival covered. That allows me to have the freedom to utilize my words, because the greatest gift that you can ever give someone, at least in my opinion, is to inspire them and to show them how truly unique and extraordinary and reverent their existence is. And that's what I love to do. So that's what I'm going to do for donating to the toy bin. I'm going to write a bunch of cards, Christmas cards and stuff, and talk about how great these kids are, right? And just like, and give them a fun whimsy to talk, like a story, do something, right? To get their imagination, to give them hope, to give them belief that like they can do whatever they set their mind to, right? Like the world is your oyster. And to enable someone to recognize that in themselves is just, actually, you know what? I have to talk about more of y'all's members, because y'all are just, we're just gonna keep talking about people. So I'm gonna keep going back. This 62-year-old person, by all means, that is someone that is more vintage compared to some of the other ages that you can be defined as. They are pursuing, they utilize AI, they pay for it, they have a membership to AI, Perplexity, I think, to learn, to try to grow their methods of articulating themselves, of further expanding their creativity and their utilization as a human being, right? How can I better become a better version of myself in order to do more? And this person already volunteers in the church, and made this beautiful long summary or like this prompt, this standard prompt that they input into AI whenever they want a summary of any of the videos that they watch, along with like references. It's so organized, very structured, very beautiful. I loved it. And I was like, dude, for a 62-year-old, right? You took something. AI is completely foreign. Some people don't even utilize it still, or they unknowingly utilize it. There's different softwares here. They use it by indirectly. This person purposely engaged with AI at an older age, right? Faced something that was novel, new, innovative, uncomfortable, perhaps unfamiliar, and is going all in. And they've created, and they've demonstrated what it has done, right? They literally made their own homework and lesson plan, basically, and created beautiful things with it. And then look, they this is what some of the things that they do part of their church. They don't utilize AI for this. They do this on their own. But look at that. This person utilizing AI helps them of like smooth line, and like she writes the sacrament program every week, right? Her pursuing AI and utilizing it and testing her logic, researching, watching videos, inputting those videos into AI and getting these beautiful synopsises and like layouts that she purposely made to help it easier for people to understand. I'm like, dude, that's extraordinary. That is so cool. You can even make like a folder of these and just put them out for free, right? You can have links to the videos. You can put them on my page if you want. I think on my post page, I saw someone made a post. You can add these things there if you desire, and people can share them and pick them up if you want with the link to the video that you watched, and then the AI summary that you beautifully created, that you prompted AI to make for you. Oh, so cool. And then this is what I love more so, because this is one of the prompts that she utilized to talk about the Giving Machines program, because she wanted me to learn more background on how it works and this and that, right? So this is the prompt that she put into it. And I want to tell you how extraordinary this is. This is what she wrote. Give me a complete rundown with the references on the LDS Church's Giving Machine program. How does the service work beyond purchasing? Whose idea was it? What are its beginnings? Is it well accepted and bringing in a large amount of donations? How is the back end of it ran, right? And then she allowed me, it's so beautiful. And then 9 steps completed, right? Because she gives, I guess, the steps on how to have the AI research these things, to give out information. And she did this for me. And I said, dude, you don't realize how extraordinary what the prompt you just demonstrated, what the questions you asked AI, you demonstrated something very novel and unique. And so this is what I wrote. I do love the prompt you initially entered because it demonstrates a very unique and novel thought pattern. You're exploring and expressing a desire to learn the underlying mechanisms behind the concept of the Giving Machine itself, right? She's studying, she's exploring the thoughts behind how the thoughts even arose for the giving machine to come about. Does everyone understand that? That is extraordinary, right? That is what I do, right? To perceive the thought behind the thought. Where did that thought come from? And you can trace it back and reverse engineer it. This is what I mean by everything's hidden in plain sight. Because 90% of the everything's hidden in plain sight, guys. When people talk about like, oh, be careful, like there's so many lies, they try to cover things up, there's a lot of bad stuff happening behind the scenes, I'm like, I'm aware. Nothing, again, I keep utilizing the phrase hidden in plain sight for a reason. I'm aware. And also, I don't perceive things in the same way as everyone else, so I don't perceive them as people, sure, on the conscious level, on the surface layer, it may look like they're trying to do someone dirty or do something bad. But there are different layers to understanding someone's actions. And I'm aware of them. It's very easy to perceive them, guys. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it, okay? So I'm aware. I'm aware of the thresholds of innovation and where potential lies, untapped potential lies. I'm very aware of it, especially with things within LDS. Anywho, I said this, the goodwill and mission related to it are indeed important. Again, that's helped, like polio vaccine, things like that. But your line of questioning is more oriented towards understanding how the concept even arose in the first place. Does everyone perceive how her questions arose? She wasn't asking surface layer questions, right? She asked, oh, Snickers, where'd it go? How does the service work beyond purchasing, right? She's asking about logistical flow. How does the process work? How does the thought, how does the mechanism even work? Whose idea was it? Again, right? Once you find out the origin of an idea, you can start tracing back. How did this occur? What were the environmental factors? Why did this idea come about? What did that person experience in their life that led them to that moment in time and that opportunity? This can all be perceivable. What are its beginnings, right? Origin stories are so important because origin stories demonstrate everything else that will progress past that, right? That is why I said, hey, like LDS has the same thought process, the same cognitive thought. Y'all didn't copy them. Y'all created it on your own, right? There's only so many movement patterns that existence can have to utilize. And you guys are demonstrating a very peculiar and unique movement pattern that is correlated to novel discovery and innovation. Period. Okay. And you can look at it, guys. I just want someone to just look at like the people that are correlated to LDS. And people are commenting on inventions too. Like the television was invented by LDS. That doesn't shock me. All the heart transplant, the heart machine to help when someone's going on a heart transplant, that was invented by LDS. Y'all, doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all. Again, you guys have a very unique and novel cognitive thought pattern, and you have a community where it's fostered and utilized, but it could be utilized to a greater potential. Okay, so then I went back to them and said, your questions are more geared towards tracing the foundational movement of thought and idea as if you're trying to map the process. Understanding the underlying process of how the idea even came into existence is where further novelty and innovation lies. You're essentially demonstrating a desire to understand the mechanism of thought, because once you understand how ideas originate and thus work, you yourself become a source of novelty. The fact that you pay for it also demonstrates your resilience and effort towards achieving novel understanding, regardless of what others in your demographic are doing, right? Do you guys realize how extraordinary it is for someone that is easily perceived as retirement age? Man, this weather be wild. Okay, sorry, I'm just distracted looking out the window. How someone this age doing this is atypical. It's unique. It's extraordinary. How many people do you recognize in your 60s going out and tackling, making like full-on prompts, researching like the thought behind the thought, right? Trying to learn these things. It's so cool. And everyone does it, but they're not aware of it. So now I'm going to go to someone else. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say one thing that they mentioned, but that was really cool because I'd never heard this before. Because their son has dysphagia. Wait, was that what the word was? They don't dysgraphia. Dysgraphia means they don't learn through writing. I learned, right? They don't write. And I said, dude, your son is a gift. Like, people that require writing, that's like a elementary step. People that are able to articulate and correlate and do like oral storytelling, those are people that like in the old ancient times were classified as like priests, were classified as the prophets, right? We're classified as like the oracles, like the holy people, right? The people that were the wisdom seekers that communicate with the spirits and things like that, right? People that don't utilize, right, written word like that, right? And also think about it. Name another person that is very influential, that everyone loves to throw around their name, that no one has ever mentioned them writing anything down. Can anyone think of a name that a lot of paradigms of religion like to throw around that have never been mentioned of writing anything down? Sometimes it can be pronounced Jesus, depending on what area you're at. Okay. Does everyone understand now, right? No, Jesus, no one has ever claimed to possess, no book, no doctrine, no sacred text mentions Jesus ever writing. Okay. Let that sink in for a second. Anywho, that just shows though, right? Anyways, so I'm going to go to this next person though. Oh, there's so many good things. Oh, and also I got invited on someone's YouTube channel, so I'm going to go do it. It just said, I just came across your YouTube channel and your experience interacting with and attending LDS services. I host a Latter-day Saint-based YouTube channel, and I think my viewers will be interested in your story, and here's my channel. Let's Talk Hayden Carroll. Cool, man. Yeah, I love talking to people. So we're going to do that. We're doing that next week. Oh, shoot. Where did that person go? Nope, not you. Ah, here we go. Dude, like this person, he's a photographer, a police officer in Utah, Army vet, really into like photography and what is he? Oh, and I love it. He totally reminds me of my dad because he wrote this. I'll just read it. I am reaching out to you as a complete stranger, so let me start by introducing myself. Oh, I feel myself not trying to cry here. Oof, here we go. Try keep it together. See, isn't this a fun partnership? Okay. Excuse me. I am reaching out to you as a complete stranger, so let me start by introducing myself. My name is a human. This is a man, I believe. Yes, man. And I am an Army veteran and police officer in Utah. I have been an officer for 27 years. I am currently an SRO, spending my days with middle school age kids trying to make a difference. Love that. I am a professional photographer, and my work can be found at castlenastureart.com. I have incurable stage 4 cancer, but it's currently undetectable. I will have another test in a few days to see if it stays that way. I am a Star Trek fan. Yeah, let's go. Wow. If anyone saw this, they'd be like, that's nothing. That is definitely not Star Trek. Maybe I should stick to this. Let's go. Okay. I'm getting better at this hand though, right? I used to not be able to do this. I used to have like a split there. I'm getting better, right? Oh, at least those two fingers are together now, right? We're getting there with these. These guys are a little more whimsy. They don't like to stay together. They're divorced. They're trying to get a divorce, right? It's like the sock that gets lost in the dryer and goes missing, runs off with the panties or like the bras. Yeah, that's my pinky there, trying to escape. Okay. I'm a Star Trek fan, and above all, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I love your open and questioning mind, seeing you search for truth without preconceived notions and a refreshing outlook in a world full of people who take stance and won't budge on their beliefs at all costs. For many, this is unfortunately true in religion, politics, and all aspects of life. I agree. Life is not meant to be rigid. You have to have a little bit of flexibility. You got to go with the vibe. You got to ride the waves, right? Riding the waves is better than getting your shit rocked by tumbling through the waves. That happens a lot. Especially when people hold on to such rigid understanding. When people stick to, like, firmly to the level of understanding that they're at, well, you know, good on you, but you're going to start getting tumbled in the waves a little bit more. Okay. I stumbled onto your channel by accident and have been following your journey of exploration into the LDS faith. I have been yelling at my screen, good-naturedly, trying to correct your pronunciation of some of the names in the Book of Mormon. Oh, I am so dead, dude. I could totally feel that. Like, I could totally imagine, because now that I'm more familiar with everything, looking back at that first video where I had no idea how to pronounce things, I am dying laughing about, like, how cringe that must have been for, like, people to watch being like, what are you doing? Like, right? I would have been like, oh, this is how you pronounce it. Oh, I'm so dead. It made me laugh so hard. But actually now I have no desire to publish or talk about the Book of Mormon on my YouTube channel because I don't even want to touch it. I'm having more fun doing other things. It has been a fun and exciting journey for me, and it looks to be an exciting journey for you too. I am truly excited for you. I just finished your video on why you will always work with and trust LDS. In the video, you mentioned you weren't sure what the purpose of the church was. The purpose of the church is to help people be better and reach out to our fellow man and help them be better as well. This is done through Christ-like love and charity. I like that. That's okay. Because again, right? Anyone can say words. Anyone can articulate and say words. They can say any type of word they want all day long. However, demonstration of action, of understanding of those words is where proof is in the pudding, okay? I know you saw the baptism interview questions to be a member of the church, and I know some of the requirements to join may seem difficult and overwhelming. I can promise you they are worth it. Yeah, I got my official membership. I'm officially yes. However, yes, I will go through whatever the process is. I can promise you they are worth it, and you will find a level of peace and happiness you have never experienced before. That's tough for me because I don't really perceive internal states of dissonance anymore. Like, even when I'm upset or angry or like crying and mad, like I don't really feel it. It takes a lot. It actually takes a lot for me to perceive that internal state of dissonance that people define as anything other than peace and happiness. It's hard for me to get there. It's hard for me to perceive that on the internal side, the physiological changes, just because, well, I understand a lot. So, but sometimes, ooh, right? I'm still human. Sometimes I want to press this a lot at a lot of people. Okay. Anywho, I know the church is true and living church of Christ here on earth. This is why you are finding so much peace and goodness in your interactions with the faith. Sure. I also know that this is something you need to find out for yourself and shouldn't take my word for it. I highly recommend you reach out to the missionaries if you haven't already, as they are great for answering questions. And yes, I agree. I agree that the missionaries are beautiful at answering questions. And I don't mind talking to them. That's why I plan on, whatever, doing this interview process, we'll do that. However, they may soon find, if I start to articulate myself to the depths that I normally do, right? They may find that they become intimidated or they can't answer my questions. So I'm fine with it though. I will meet with them, right? I love learning. I love the chance to articulate myself and demonstrate my understanding, right? Like for instance, my understanding of baptism, actually, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that after I finish this. No matter the path you choose in life, whether you join the church or not, God knows you and personally loves you and is aware of you. Yes, I'm aware. You have 12 plus million members of the church, including me, who love you and want to see you succeed in this life and are rooting for you. Yes. And I am one person, and I am rooting for 12 million members of this church to demonstrate what words they utilize. Yes, LDS is loved and very important. I agree. And he says, I can't give you my testimony of the gospel. I was like, what, bro? You're demonstrating already, as you need to search that out and find it on your own. But I can tell you that if you sincerely want to know, if you approach it with prayer and study, you will know that the truth of the Book of Mormon, living prophets, and modern revelation. I know it is real. I know it is the truth, and that Christ lives. You will find as you gain this testimony, those things which seem hard will become easy as you find peace and joy with the gospel. Yes. Yes, I agree to all of that. Yes. So I said this. Evening, Gary. Oh my. And he's a photographer, so I went to his website. He has really cool pictures, right? Because the pictures, right? The things that people take pictures of, the titles, the words they utilize, it invokes a deeper level of symbolism. It invokes the inner state of themselves. So we'll go to it. And this is what I mean by, like, I don't understand why men feel like inferior, because all your actions demonstrate that you guys feel like you're like an afterthought. I just don't understand it. Men innately think they're an afterthought for some reason. But all the gallery, like the natural galleries, right? The collections, national parks. They have national parks that they went to. There's 3 national parks. Then the states collection, they have the Utah, Hawaii, and Colorado, again 3s. And then the wanderings, again 3s, right? Nature, existence itself, loves patterns. Everything is perfectly grouped into groupings of 3, right? 3 is the most stable shape, triangle, right? And this is symbolic. The pinnacle, right? The point is symbolic of male symbol versus the chalice, usually, right? Da Vinci Code, y'all, is symbolic of female. And coincidentally, it aligns with different body parts in certain squares, the no-no squares. Wait, are these no-no squares on men? I don't know. To be quite frank, I don't really have a big chest, so... Y'all, for CrossFit, it's kind of hard because there's certain movements called chest to bar pull-ups where you're like they talk about touching your chest. Your chest to like literally touch the bar instead of getting your chin over the bar. And I have worn double bras and push-up bras before during certain times of the year for certain workouts to make it easier for me to reach to pull myself up. Not all of us are gifted with, voluptuous chests, okay? That are defined as female. Anywho, I digress. Yes, the 3s, but then like also the things that they took pictures of, right? All nature oriented, right? There is a connection, there is a longing, there is a desire to understand, right? All these beautiful things that nature has to offer, and they're mimicking the patterns of fractalization and symmetry by having in their collections sets of 3. Everything's in sets of 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay? So, and then the names that they use too. Like a picture is worth 1,000 words. Like this one, it's entitled Precipice. Precipice is like you're on the cusp, you're on the edge, you're about to just like step into something extraordinary, something brand new, something like novel, like the aha moment, the clarity, right? The precipice. And this image is just overlooking a canyon, and there's 2 bushes, right? Look at this, right? To title this image Precipice, it just shows such epic proportions of thought and the vastness of it, right? Look at the depth and layer of the photo, right? It shows like the vastness of thought and how they're thinking, the depths of which they are thinking and perceiving things and asking questions and searching for answers, right? And clarity. And like the colors, how the sky is actually, there's multiple types of clouds present. Like got the nimbus clouds with like the fluffy ones, and then you got the cirrus clouds, which are like the high and wispy that indicate different movement patterns are coming in and circulating, right? That is like a demonstration that you have all sorts of different type of movements that are perhaps not perceivable, but only when they become like manifest with clarity can they be perceived, right? That's why the clouds are different things, because those clouds, right, are carried around by invisible weather patterns, that the winds that you can't perceive, but how those clouds look demonstrate and tell you information about what is what is occurring up there in the clouds, right? In the weather, right? High and wispy clouds demonstrate that you're going to get rain most likely in the next couple days or in the near future, like within the week or whatnot, right? The big rain clouds, right? Those you're aware that you're going to get rain. The like tornadoes, you can tell when the tornado is about to occur because you'll see the clouds moving. You'll see like higher clouds, and you'll see low fast moving clouds, and you'll see them start to move, and you're like, ooh, that's not good, right? That this picture captures all of that awe and wonder, right? Like, that's cool. Oh, and look at this, yo. They title this The Two Witnesses. Tell me that isn't symbolic and epic, right? Like, this one looks like they got a big head. They got a big brain. And they have like a little skirt on, like, right? They're like scooting along. That's what it looks like. Sorry, I have my little Lego piece, and so it just looks like the bottom looks like the bottom of the rock looks like that, right? How it gets wider. And so I just like imagine like this person just being like moving along like Lego movie, you know, like everything is awesome. Oh, I digress. Okay, aren't these fun? Y'all, aren't y'all happy I'm unofficially a member? Anyways, so yeah, just looking through their website, just so much symbolism, and you can tell like why they picked these names, like why they picked it. Like the window, that's like a window into their soul, man. Like, oh, it's so good, so much layer, and it shows like what they stand for, like where their thoughts are, what they're trying to do, right? Even like their symbol, like they're working with an organization called Leave No Trace. Y'all, look at the symbolism behind that. Look what they picked. That is just like a spiral, right? That's very symbolic across Native American cultures, weather patterns. Look at this glass, right? Orbitals, different orbital patterns. All those things. I was drinking my 1 glass of wine a day to try to turn the wine to water, right? It is still wine. Okay. Yeah, y'all taught me to have resilient effort. I'm going to keep trying. Don't worry. I will not give up. This wine will eventually turn to water, and y'all are going to be the first persons to hear about it. Okay. So, this is what I wrote him back. Evening, Gary. Oh my, do I need to increase my water consumption because I am crying at an existential rate from all the beautiful stories and words I'm receiving, right? Because when I was scrolling through his gallery, y'all, last night, I was bawling. I was like, ah, like this. I'm like, I felt like I was just reliving just every single aspect of like everything that he told me, like, right? Every word he utilized carries meaning. Like, why did he select those words, right? Because everyone realized as a police officer, right? Police officers are known for like being hardcore, right? Protecting the community, doing things like that, right? Fighting drugs. And so, but this person, right? The police officer, the protection, the law enforcement, the ones that have the authority to use lethal force to protect others. He chose a position with middle school kids trying to make a difference. Yo, that is a man that recognizes how much impact his life can make, right? I'm sure in his career at 27 years as a police officer, as well as being an Army veteran, he has seen things or he might have done things that have occurred to other human beings that cause a state of dissonance in him. Guarantee it, right? Because that is the type of work that those types of foundational systems require, is for you to purposely inflict harm onto another human being, regardless of the situation, right? That is hard. That is hard fundamentally, right? Regardless of the reasons behind what it is, to have to, right? I'm a military person too. Thankfully I was a dentist, but like I'm aware, my ex was a police officer, 2 exes before was a police officer. I'm aware of the challenges of what people have to do and the perceptions of the constant struggles. I've had so many friends who that's why I just get so frustrated. And that's why I wanted to work with Orfield Labs. And I'm so irked by them. Temperance button. Because they're doing a novel PTSD study. And I said, oh my gosh, you have a chance to actually literally cure these people from the diagnosis of PTSD if you can understand what you are doing here. If you can articulate and explain what is occurring here. Anyways. So people that have PTSD, right? Think about it. Regardless of what the reason behind it, regardless of what they were told, some people out there chose to take the other life they took another life of another human being. They either saw it occur, they experienced it, they themselves were shot. Something catastrophic happens to the minds of those people that personally go through that have to every single day wake up and choose to purposely do actions that harm other human beings. It causes a very severe state of dissonance and turmoil in a human being, y'all. And to see people struggle and not receive answers to the depths that allow them to understand what they have experienced makes me so angry and frustrated with medicine and Orfield Labs now. So disappointed for you guys for not reaching back to me. I gave you the opportunity to be able to articulate and explain that to those human lives that are struggling to understand the nuances of what they've experienced that relate to the definitions and meaning of PTSD. I digress. Anyways, right, this person, this human being, this man is doing extraordinary things with his life, right? He's spent his entire life serving to help others, to protect others, but in doing so, he had to harm others. There is another way. You can help others without harming them. And without harming yourself as well, right? And he found that with middle school age kids, right? That's an assignment that most people perhaps don't want, right? It's not as cool. It's not as in action. They don't feel like they're making a difference and literally stopping bad guys, right? They're not literally out killing and harming people. Some people enjoy that, right? Some people enjoy that. And again, they enjoy that because they feel like they're doing something worthwhile with their lives. And they are doing something worthwhile with their lives, but it's coming at the price of their own life. And it's hard to watch the cycle just keep going and going. Anyways, so I wrote this back to him. Evening. Oh my, do I need to increase my water consumption because I'm crying at an existential rate from all the beautiful stories and words I'm receiving. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing for this opportunity to spend my days responding to emails like this. Aren't y'all glad I do drugs? I can feel real deep, y'all. Drugs bring me clarity because again, and also, guys, you need to work on your definition of drug because do you realize a drug is literally defined as any substance that invokes a physiological response or change in the body. Do you realize water and oxygen are required drugs, right? They're required for life. That's why people don't like to classify them as drugs. But they're drugs, period, according to the actual definition of what a drug does. A drug, if you look at anything that's ever been classified as a drug, is something that invokes a physiological change in the body. What does water and oxygen do? What does food do? Certain substances invoke physiological changes that in certain people, you can call it a talent or gift if you want, a state of clarity. I believe they call it an altered state of consciousness. An altered state of consciousness is defined as an altered perspective. Is it not an altered perspective? It's an alternate way of being able to perceive situations and clarity of thought. And I have mastered the nuances of how to utilize such clarity of thought, so it doesn't perturb me nor bother me. like drowning, for instance, right? Drowning's an overdose of water. Dot period. Water is a drug, which is why it kills people when they overdose on it. Does everyone understand how drugs work now? And the definition of drugs? Okay. Any other definition that branches beyond that is man-made. It's a man-made interpretation. Okay. If you want to argue the nuances of drugs and how what is defined as drowning is identical to a water overdose, a drug overdose of water, I would be by all means willing to discuss it with you. Okay. So I wrote this back to him. I forgot what I was going to this. I was unfamiliar with what SRO stood for, and from asking AI what it means, the responses came back as standing room only, school resource officer, and single room occupancy. Arguably, I can perceive how all of these apply to what you have already demonstrated, right? When I get whimsy options back, y'all, I remix everything. You know how my imagination works and my creativity. Like, I fly on a whimsy, man. Speed of light ain't got nothing on me. It can't keep up. Okay. I'm so funny. Especially when I do drugs. Sorry, it's just become part of the comedy routine at this point. Y'all, I'm really hoping I one day get a Netflix roast special because because Justin Bieber and Tom Brady were the only two that have had a Netflix roast special. I'm about to show them up. I'm about to show them how to roast, right? If they ever get me on there. That'd be cool. Wouldn't that be cool? Like if I was a lesbian LDS that got a Netflix roast special and we just talked about LDS and I went up there and then I just roasted everyone with mic drops as they tried to roast me. It'd be so adorable because there's enough content out there that can perceive like, oh, yeah, that won't land well from anyone else, right? I mic drop anyone that tries to disrespect anything that I perceive as sacred and reverent. Get out of here, amateurs. Anyways. Assumingly do not only, standing room only implies, so I went through and I gave what I perceived out of those things that AI gave me back, right? Because this person said they're SRO. So I was like, okay, they're associated with SRO. I have three things that popped up, right? To go along with the three things, their hierarchy of the three on their website, which coincidentally is called nature art. Yes, I agree. We are playing with the patterns of nature right now. Standing room only implies only those who are capable of putting forth effort will have the courage to stand. Right? Tell me that man is not standing. That's what I said. Standing room only implies only those who are capable of putting forth effort will have the courage to stand. That's LDS. And this person. School resource officer perhaps is an assignment of law enforcement that juxtaposes normal perceptions of the badass and epic nature of the title of police. Assumingly, you not only are performing divine authority within the church, but also coincidentally demonstrate it by your actions and words with serving as an SRO for an organization that oftentimes has immense physical trial and tribulation alongside massive public observation and thus scrutiny. Okay? Because I had friends that were police. My ex is a police officer. One time, there was a dude like coked out on coke or whatever it was, and he was trying to like run in the street, and they were trying to hold him to prevent him from running into the street, right? And people called into the police station. He ended up dying because his heart stopped. They did everything was found non-guilty or whatever, but they had lawsuits against it, and then people were calling in. Reporting police abuse. They're like, hey, and they filmed it, they spun it around, they said all these things. Y'all, perceptions are very easy to play with. Very, very easy to play with. When you're when you're still like responding to those like primitive thoughts, but what's occurring underneath the surface, right? There's some cool layers going on. Anyways, right? So the police is an organization. Right? The police is a paradigm that oftentimes has immense physical trial and tribulation. Y'all, they get shot at. They literally get shot at. They get stabbed. They're in charge of shooting at other people. They're in charge of handcuffing people, right? Not easy. Right? Immense physical trial and tribulation alongside massive public observation and thus scrutiny. Tell me how many times the police are under massive scrutiny, right? This guy's got double whammy, man. Not only is he LDS, but he's police. Ugh. You got it hard, man. Your entire species does not like you. I apologize. They do love you. But it's easy to get down on yourself, though, right? I said, you're just accepting discomfort from every avenue existence has to gift you, including physicality, man. Bro. And he's got undetectable cancer right now, but he's got cancer too. He's getting, right? Hopefully it's not in his balls, but man, he's getting kicked in the balls. Literally. To an undetectable level. I don't know where the cancer is though, but I'm assuming either that, because usually in men, the highest probabilities or instances, and especially if he's LDS and he was in the military and whatnot, so I wouldn't anticipate lung cancer or heart disease or things like that. I would anticipate something dealing with what is often defined as like the root and grounding aspects of what defines the anatomy or whatever. So I would go for, I think he might have testicular. I have no idea. So I'm going to guess testicular cancer. So I apologize if that was an insensitive joke. So I thought about it more and I was just like, oh, you really are perhaps getting kicked in the balls. By yourself, right? Because cancer is self-created, unfortunately, right? Got some crazy little cells in there, crazy kids in your body are acting out. Single room occupancy demonstrates you stand in a world that doesn't currently understand there's more room beyond single room occupancy. And it's only a matter of perspective that determines whether there's room for occupancy on a single planet. Right? Single room occupancy demonstrates you stand, right? He's standing after all the effort, after standing, right? He's LDS and he's a police officer. And, right, I'm gonna put this on him. He has cancer. I'm gonna assume it's testicular cancer. That is like the triple threat to a male, man. That is a triple threat of like extraordinary challenge and reverent opportunity that 100% meets any definition of divine authority, right? Because that sort of environment does not get given to someone that can't handle it. That doesn't have divine authority, y'all. Like, that is just like the perfect pinnacle of just extraordinary balancing of so many different layers and things in their life, right? And they're a photographer, right? On their free time, they're going out and showing their reverence for existence through photography, like nature, right? Oh, so cool. So cool. And then I said, you're just accepting discomfort. Oh yeah. So single room occupancy demonstrates you stand in a world that doesn't currently understand there's more room beyond single room occupancy. And it's only a matter of perspective that determines whether there's room for occupancy on a single planet, right? Because I'm aware a lot of people say like, oh, like, y'all, when I think about family, I think about it on different levels, right? I have the family that is within myself, right? Like, I am my own family. I take care of myself, right? I am my family unit. The family unit, first and foremost, is made up of individual parts, right? So each one of those persons has their own family inside themselves, the potential to make their own family or whatever, define their own family. And then you have your literal, like, blood family. And then you can have, like, the literal human species as a family. And then you can get even more whimsy, and you can go into, like, the family of existence, because technically all of us are just energy movement patterns that are oriented and geographically aligned into what is defined as matter and a human. Okay, so we're in the family of existence, y'all, because we're literally made out of existence. We're made out of the same material. Anyways, I digress. Okay. You have given quite a testimony, and it didn't require anything but reading your words. What you have given me is more sacred and reverent than any words of a book. And I capitalized S and R to show respect for him. That's freaking cool. It is truly a privilege to perceive the thoughts you have gifted me. along with your gallery of honoring the observations of existence. The Sunrise Sunset collection had me strolling down sentimental lanes of memory, while the Grand Teton Valley, or Teton Gallery had me giggling from nostalgia based on the titles invoking a state of awe and wonder. Among the Thorns reminded me of the two occasions, I wrote this in parentheses, there's a photo he had called Among the Thorns. I said, Among the Thorns reminded me of the two occasions I tried to pick and eat a fruit off a cactus called the prickly pear. Y'all, I should find that one. I like that one. I'll show you all the picture. Oh, snickerdoodles. Oh no, I don't know where it went. Oh no. Wait, I gotta find this picture. Huh? I have no idea where it is. Anyways, I forgot where I put it. Oh, maybe it's Grand Teton. Grand Teton. National Parks. Grand Teton. Grand Teton. Oh yeah, this one. Yes. This one. This was the picture. So this picture reminded me of like so many times I went to like national parks and the little butterfly, that type of butterfly there, or that creature, they migrate through Texas. I believe that's the one I remember perceiving. And I perceive them at my dad's house too. And I love, because I will go out to my dad's house in the summer. When I first went out to my dad's house, they had all sorts of different butterflies. And this is when I first took my ex before. This is when I first took the first female that I ever introduced to my dad to. We went and like chased butterflies, like, cause I wanted to take pictures of all the butterflies all over his like property. Oh gosh, that triggered a beautiful memory. Yeah, because that was she was the first girl I ever had the courage to introduce to my dad, because I respected and revered my dad so much that I was never brave enough to articulate to him who I love, right? But now, man, I can articulate through the roof, right? I can articulate past heaven and hell why I love women. Oh my gosh, everything about them is so extraordinary and beautiful and just amazing. And okay, I digress, right? Y'all LDS men are very familiar about how extraordinary women are, okay? You can't blame me for loving them as much as y'all love them. And I'd argue I love them more than you guys love them. Y'all hide your wife and hide your kids from me, y'all. I'm just kidding. Oh, I laughed so hard at that. That was funny. That was a good one. Okay. Yeah, but anyways, she was the first person that, reminded me of, she was the first ex that I had when we went on that trip, and that butterfly, that's what it reminded me of, that I had the courage to talk to my dad as like man to man, basically, right? Because before that point, I never had the courage to approach my dad about difficult conversations, about how I feel, and openly expressing myself. Man, I've done some real good at conversations with my dad, actually, because last Thanksgiving, this is good. Last Thanksgiving, I had to do a lot of deep diving, man. I was supposed to donate my kidney to my dad, but that process fell through because of the arrogance of medicine. Won't even go into that. Right? Won't even go into that. It's due to labels. That medicine is demonstrating catastrophic arrogance and ignorance. Anywho, I told my dad, I got so frustrated at him last Thanksgiving. And I turned to him because I was supposed to donate a kidney to him. Y'all, this is about to be the most cutthroat thing. I'm telling you, when my thresholds of my temperance get breached, this is what comes out. I turn to him and I say, "Do you still want a kidney?" Because he was saying derogatory things about other human beings, and I got so frustrated about it. I got so frustrated with it. And so I turned to him and I said, this is gonna stop, because I was trying to be calm with everyone. I was trying to keep the peace, but everyone just kept going and just saying mean things about other people, right? How they were articulating their words. It was just so mean. So I was like, fine, I'm done. You guys don't want to listen? I will turn and say, so I said to him, do you still want a kidney, right? And this is at the time when I was supposed to be donating still. And that like shut everyone up. And I was like, thank you. But I was mad. I was mad at myself. And so I said, I'm going to go to bed tonight because I think that's a good time for me to go to bed. I want to think about things. And my relative was like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Wow, like disrespect, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm not even gonna. Someone's got to play it right. There's got to be a villain in order for the victims to feel hurt, right? There's got to be someone to propagate and invoke a state of reflection. Okay? Someone's got to do it. Anyways. So I thought about it more the next morning, or over that night and stuff. I was just pondering it and thinking about it, and I was like, where did that burst of frustration come from? Why did I lose my temperance to my father? Why did I do that? And immediately in my head, it kept coming back to an experience I had, a phone call with my dad, where I was in a very tough spot, like right, my hospitalization. Very tough spot. And I was like, let me call him, because I know he's frustrated or concerned. And when I call him, right, y'all, certain hospital wards are like prisons. Let's just say that, right? Because, again, I'm employed by existence, by life itself. And so I get the unique opportunity to observe systems through immersion. And so my immersion into the hospital, let's just say there's some very intriguing findings that I found. And let's just say my temperance thresholds are much lower based on what they've demonstrated on some of the things that they do to other human beings. We'll put it that way. Okay. Anyways, I decided to call my dad. And he like railed into me. Said some used some very, very like derogatory words. And I said, I got mad. Or I was like getting mad at it. And so I said to him, because he never says I love you to us. And so I said, well, I love you. Because then he has to say it to me, right? And then he was like, well, I love you too. Because he never, right? I grew up, he never says I love you out loud. Never. Him and my mom never did physical touch. They never said the word love. Never out loud. It was like taboo. Like, yo, if I wasn't aware of the meaning of love, I would have thought the love was like the worst word and like a no-no. Like, you don't talk about that. Like, whatever hush-hush that people think that I can't perceive about LDS, it's like that. It's like, I thought love was a concept where it's like, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it out. Like, it's not a thing, right? But then when I got older, I was just like, what? Oh, this is a thing. Oh, my parents just don't understand it. Okay, hold on. Let me help them. And so my parents are afraid of the word. And so I told him I love him. And so anyways, so fast forward to when I was at Thanksgiving, after I told him, do you still want a kidney? I was just like, what memory? Like, what am I holding on to? And I said, I got it. This is what I can use. I was holding on to a grudge because of how he treated me or what he said to me when we were on the phone in the hospital. Because that was a very vivid memory. I'm aware that he was aware of it, because that's when he lost his temperance broke the thresholds, and he was aware of it. So I was aware that he remembered it. And so I said, okay, I can use that memory and I can talk about it, and I can also, that's my opportunity to bring up love. Because I want to talk to him about why he never says the word love out loud. I said, I'm aware that your actions demonstrate through and through that you love us more than you love yourself. And so now I'm curious why you can't utilize the word. What's stopping you from literally saying the word out loud? And I was like, I'm putting you on the spot, bro. Yeah, do you know how hard that is to go up to your father, right? After I just had that conversation with it, or after I said that, right, I got into a huge argument with my entire family circle. The misunderstanding that was occurring. I got so angry that I stopped the misunderstanding by invoking something catastrophically rude, right? That would instantly drop a bomb, right? A cognitive bomb, by telling my dad, do you still want a kidney? When I was the one that was supposed to be donating to him. And then I thought about it more and I was like, I'm going to talk to him the next morning and apologize for my actions of what I said and explain why I said it, because I was still holding on to like a grudge. I was still holding on to a vengeance of how I perceived his words when I was in the hospital. Like, isn't this a great circle? Isn't this a great circle? Because then I told him, and so the next morning I did that. He was sitting there, and tensions were still high, y'all. Like, it was just like, everyone was walking on eggshells, because that's a pretty catastrophic thing to say, right? That's a pretty catastrophic thing to say. And I told him the story. I sat down with him, and I was just like, I really thought about why I said what I said, and I realized my temperance, where it came from, is because I'm holding on to a grudge from when I was in the hospital, because I perceived your words as a lack of care and disrespect, and not a demonstration of the love in the way that I desire to receive it. And I misunderstood it, but I was holding on to that, and I apologize for that. But also, I don't understand why we never say I love you to each other. Why don't you ever say those words out loud to me? I never hear you say it, but your actions always demonstrate it, and it's just so confusing for me. What stops you? And it was so adorable, right? This was like through the conversation, but he ended up saying back, like, I love you guys. And he's like, gave me a hug. He's like, do you want a hug? And I said, yeah. He's like, I love you guys. And I was like, I'm aware, I know. This is that I was just expressing how much I care, like how much I love and care about you and your sister and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, I'm aware. And then I asked him, I said, yeah, like, why don't you say I love you out loud? Why don't you say the word? LOVE, 4 little letters. You can, like, space it out. I love you. You can remix it. You can say I velo you, VELO. Anywho, he said it's hard for him to say them out loud. It's hard for him to say them out loud. And I'm like, I'm aware, because men, for some reason, are taught and raised that expressing themselves shows a lack of worth or reverence or respect. I was like, no, bro. Let me teach boys something. When you express and articulate yourself in a way that shows emotional maturity, like, I need a moment to step away because I am having trouble comprehending the situation and myself. I want to understand myself more, or blah, 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 right? Bro, do you know how sexy it is when a man is like, or any human is like, I feel sad right now. What I am feeling inside of the physiological state that I am feeling inside me, I would describe as anger. Oh man, but I'm aware now that when I feel a physiological state of dissonance inside me, right? A perceivable change, right? Your body is anatomically changing when you perceive these things that people describe as anger and emotions and blah, 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 blah. You can articulate, I am perceiving something that a misunderstanding is occurring and I'm lacking information. I am going to take the time to reflect and ponder the situation and blah, 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 blah. Or I'm angry because, right? Do you know how sexy a man would be do you know how sexy I would be to women if I was a man? Right? And saying all these things and doing all these things? Y'all, that'd be like drip, drip. Then the LDS men would really be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you're welcome I'm a lesbian. You're welcome I'm female. God. The men on this planet would be in trouble. And y'all know it. You're welcome. Okay, I digress. Wow, that was a wild whimsy of tangent. Okay, I'll go on. I had a lot of fun whimsy of thought exploring your gallery, just like just now, that is worth more than 1,000 words. However, I ultimately chose the fishing hole as my favorite. The picture of the fishing hole. I'm not even going to try to look for it. Y'all, I'm going to try to look for it. I can't just talk about it and not show y'all the fishing hole. I think it was in the wildlife collection. Snickers. No, it wasn't. Water is not wildlife by man's definitions. Oh, shoot. I don't think it would be in the desert. That would be juxtaposed to what people usually perceive as a desert. Dang it. I don't know. I don't know where the picture went. I don't know which album it was in, guys. Maybe it's in the featured collections. No. Okay. Well, you can go to his website and look for the picture titled Fishing Hole. One, I love the name, right? Because you can go fish. You can play on it so many ways. Like in the Bible, they utilize it, right? JC said, "Follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." I love going bass fishing. Water is very symbolic, right? Y'all keep talking about baptism, which, we'll go to next. I'll talk about my definition of baptism. The observation of the ripple's appearance reminded me of the quantum mechanics phenomenon described as superposition. Meanwhile, the hollow ring of physical earth crossing the thresholds of submission to the water's edge invoked a moment often described as observation, where the realm of superposition's infinite probability and possibility converges onto the creation of tangible matter. It is a rather provocative scene of stillness that captures the moment clarity becomes perceivable. Tell me that doesn't make your mind go drip, drip, yum, yum, right? That's better than caffeine or weed. Let me tell you, that is much better than doing drugs. Y'all are getting to experience lots of effects of drugs by just perceiving my words from what it occurs in the cognition. I don't know if some of y'all have had these moments yet where you just kind of feel these whooshing of feelings, right? Or it almost feels like your cerebral spinal fluids kind of does a jolt. It's almost like you have a moment of vertigo perhaps, or dizziness, or you feel you sense a sensation. Those are moments that capture where clarity becomes perceivable. So much fun. And I left him with this. As for your cancer diagnosis, to be incurable yet undetectable is demonstration that medicine is perhaps unaware of the thresholds of its own ignorance and thus awareness. Extraordinary opportunity is gifted to those that demonstrate a capacity to continue extraordinary effort, regardless of states of physical trial and tribulation. It is very clear that even in the midst of uncertainty, you are still willing to keep trying and not give up on the value and worth of your existence. Regardless of the upcoming test results, you've already demonstrated you're not going to deviate from making a lasting impact on the world. But it's up to you if you decide if you want to pursue it, right? Because everyone has the opportunity to pursue, what ripple do you want to make on the world? Oh, and someone else wrote me. Sorry, we're just going to keep sharing things because another dude wrote me an email. That talked about, he demonstrated the most beautiful ripple effect that occurred because of his mom. And this story, y'all, this story is so freaking good. I'm already at I don't know how long I should make these. Should I keep going? I'm just gonna keep going, okay? These are so much fun. This is better than the comedy special. I just have, these emails, y'all, are just too good. I have to keep sharing them. There's so many of them. But this one, since we're talking about just that last thought about the ripple effect, right? This guy's an example of a ripple effect too. So this is another email I got. Just wanted to send a quick email and say thank you for your willingness to do your own research into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ, of Jesus Cristo. I've been uploading content on social media for the last 15 years and am accustomed to 98% of the people who I interact with calling me either a cult member or a heretic, so it's refreshing to hear when people are willing to take the Book of Mormon, crack open the cover, and dig in. It is actually very rare. I've offered a free Book of Mormon to thousands of people through YouTube comments and direct messages, and the majority laugh at the thought of even touching it because in their minds, it's obviously a fraud. That's not it. And I'll help you to get more people to pick it up. Hold on. I need some water. I came back from my pilgrimage. I brought soda, right? Because without contrast, light can't shine. The contrast that I provide by drinking soda makes LDS light shine brighter. See how this works, guys? Aren't I the perfect source of darkness to make you guys shine brighter? It's great. You're welcome. Okay. Oh man, I had an idea. I think I'm gonna upload this and then I'm gonna leave it as a cliffhanger here because I'm gonna talk about how this person can get more people to read the Book of Mormon and pick it up. They have a very unique, they have a really perfect, they're like a ticking time bomb of what they can do. Like, you're about to give out thousands of people are about to start accepting thousands of your free Book of Mormon, yo. Like, let me tell you. So, peace be with you. I gotta go to the grocery store too. I realize I'm hungry after I saw this cup and I was like, ooh, and my fridge is empty. And I need to, y'all, cooking for my dog, like literally like treating her like a human, right? Because she thinks she's a human, right? She just plays out in the dirt. How many of y'all's kids come in the house looking dirty like that? Yeah, I'm aware. But, right, because I want to emphasize and try to relate with experience, how it feels to like literally take care of something. Oh my gosh, that's actually something. No, I want to save that for, I might tell that story at my Fast and Furious this Sunday meeting about what I did with Yeti. And I'm so proud of myself, and it's because of what LDS inspired me to do. You know what, I'm just going to go grocery shopping, and then I'll upload this, and then I'll do another video. Maybe. I just got too much to talk about, y'all. Too much to talk about.